It's really in like on how we've emphasized even last week is focusing on all of your pillars as well, right? So you have your lead generation pillar, but that comes in different components. So whether you're paying for those leads, you're simply advertising your website, you're basically bringing business in for yourself. Yeah. And so each pillar essentially has its multiple pillars of its own attached to that, like a tripod, right? So the door knocking, I know a lot of people don't like door knocking. A lot of people. I know I used to not.
I don't like it.
No, it's kind of like, what do you say, right? But the more you do it, the better you get at it, and you know exactly what to say, right? It's you know, and right now even it's not even necessarily always about going after getting the listing. Obviously, that's the ultimate goal. But it's also, there's a lot of uncertainty with the market right now. So it's even just introducing yourself. And I know there's a lot of homeowners in the area that have questions about the market. Is there anything I can answer for you?
That's right? All we say. That's all we say. We do some role playing before we go out. And I'm like, listen, at the end of the day, what I say to myself, and I've been doing this for so long, and I still door knock every single month. Like it's a pillar of my business, one that I complain about all the time because I'm super real. I don't like it. I don't want to do it. Like, I always do that. But I say this, at the end of the day, even when they're not home, they're getting information that has my name on it that they didn't have before. So like we said, Bev and I on Friday, you have nothing to lose, but you have everything to gain. Right? Because those people wouldn't have had something that says Tara Baylis, our neighborhood realty, in their mailbox had I not have gone and done it. And these kids that started coming when I started the door knocking club here, to have the one look at me today and go, oh my God, I'm going tonight at 5:30. Like how much better can you feel about it? Like, every business has four legs. Every chair has four legs that hold it up. And I think that's where our mindset really has to become mind over matter. Because as much as we might be going a little outside of our box, our comfort zone, which as commission salespeople, we kind of have to learn how to do that, because not everything is going to come naturally to us. Not everything comes naturally to me. But I always say to myself, I know what my why is. And I know that if I want to pay these bills, I have to work all of the pillars that combine a typical real estate business. And it's a matter of making yourself do it, or surrounding yourself around people that it is a little easier to do, because then it can kind of rub off a little better for you, right? Oh, exactly. I'm not really big at calling. I always was good at it. It was always one of those things where I was like, right? And I knew that I needed to be in my career around someone that was really natural at calling. So years ago, when I was with Remax, there was this girl who started this calling club, and she called it 10,000 calls a year. And she literally would open up the phone book and go, here's the page that I'm doing today. And she did it so that she knew exactly how many calls she had to make each day. So she reached her 10,000 calls for the year. Yeah. And she was like, you got to do this, Tara. You're really good with people. And, right away, I knew she was 1,000,000% right. However, it was so hard for me out of the blue to make those calls. So I sat with her. I sat with her for a month solid. She did one call. I did one call. She did one call. You know what? It became easier for me to do because I was really making sure that I was surrounding myself around someone who could bring that out in me. Because I do think that we have the ability to go a little further than what we limit ourselves to do. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's like, it's those things that we fear the most that are only going to help us grow and rise. Right. Yeah. So it's just taking the plunge and doing it. That's for sure. Trust me, I've been in my fair share corners of uncomfortable situations and talking to people that are using language well above my vocabulary, but having to just carry on the conversation like I know what the heck they're talking about.
right? And it is the most nerve-wracking situation you can put yourself in. Palms are sweating, but then you do it again. And it wasn't so bad this time. And then you did it again. It wasn't so bad this time. And then you kind of learn who you're talking to, so you can adjust what you're saying, and you end up have, more successful conversations with them. So
right. It's like going on a roller coaster, right? I think every time we go to board a roller coaster, we're always like, oh, right. Yeah. But then when you get on that ride, for the most part, you want
to do it again. Yeah.
But you've literally had to push yourself, or somebody push yourself on it. And I think in this change of our market, I think we really have to hound in on those, what I call real estate 101.
Yeah.
Let's really take this back to basics. We know we have our agent locator leads. We know they're coming in. We already know, for the ones that have been part of our webinars, we need a drip campaign. We've got to be able to work the leads right. But our business has to consist of other pillars to help bring in those people. Right? And it is a matter for me every day, even to show up here at the webinar, it is a matter of mind over matter, because I know the onus, in order to make this happen, only falls on these shoulders. It's not you that can make my business, Crystal. It's not agent locator. It's my sellers can't make their houses sell. My buyers can't decide. You know what I mean? It's up to me. So that's where, we go back to the very first webinar we did. What is your mindset when we're dealing with this type of market shift? And then what is your mindset going forward forever?
Absolutely. And really in that mindset topic, and some of you all may be encountering it with the shift in the market, but it's also because of that shift. A lot of you all were at that, like, go, run. You're just going nonstop. And then now it's almost on, like, the brakes have gone on. Everything's slowed down significantly.
Yeah.
And how I put it is people are losing their mojo, right? You're given that moment of opportunity to sit down and breathe for yourself for a second, and then it's trying to get back motivated to get out there, because it's not just, it's never easy, but it's definitely a lot more difficult right now to get people to the transaction table.
Yeah. And I think that's where you have to really say to yourself, here's what I'm going to do for my business. These are the 4 pillars that I'm incorporating as part of my business, or have been. And this is what I'm going to do every day to work each 4. Because the bottom line is this, you guys have heard me say this before. I'm a big fan of Buffini. You have to work on your business to work in your business. So we did open houses all weekend. We did the one that we have right now. I've got a cottage listed waterfront in Fenland Falls, and now my son is now licensed. So now Austin is now not doing administrative, but he's now doing real estate. So, I bring him, we had one couple through. There's a way to look at that, right? We only had one couple through for the 2 hours the open house was open. It's easy to become, as I like to call it, oh my gosh, am I allowed to say this? A Debbie Downer. Sorry for people. But I'm like, you have 2 ways to look at this. If you have nobody show up, or if you only have one couple show up, as we did on Saturday, I view that still as positive, because I look at it this way. Everybody on the street saw that Tara Baylis was doing an open house, right? So now I know, everybody knows I'm working that listing. Number 2, my sellers have seen me work that listing. Right? So that's what I was saying to Austin and to the other new agents that joined us this weekend, is every time you sit here, whether or not you have action or not, it's always a win. Right? And that's where mindset really, again, comes into play, because it would have been easy for us to go, that wasn't worth my time, or my gas money, or this or that. And I'm not that type. I refuse to run my business that way. I'm the one that goes, gosh, I hope my sellers appreciate what went into this, because I'm showing them I'm working.
Yeah. No, that makes complete sense. extend. Do you personally, when you do your open houses, whether they're in Fenland Falls or local to your area, are you doing like what we call or consider 5-star open house? Where you're door knocking beforehand, letting the neighbors know, inviting them, your signs are out like first thing in the morning, all of that.
Big believer. I like to let everybody know. I do open house invitations, but then I take it one step further because we also have our agent locator database, right? Our leads. So I buy leads in different areas. That's just how I've always, my local areas, but I also buy leads, and then other agents, once I work them, I'll farm them out to another agent and then get my referral. So what I do is I tag my leads based on location. So wherever I have listings coming up, they all get open house invitations as well as a mass email through agent locator. And I've said this before, I have had so many of my leads come to my open houses, because I sent them an open house invitation. And I always say this, it might not be for you, but maybe you know somebody that's looking, let me just say this, for a waterfront property.
Yeah.
And they'll show up. Many of my leads have showed up simply because I put the invitation out there and they wanted to come and meet me.
Yeah.
So, I just think it's a great opportunity to incorporate our leads into our activities that we're doing in real estate.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. We do have a couple from here. Priyanka is now, she's going to go back door knocking. And it's so much confusion and questions. So it's really the best time to go and get in front of them. Which is very true. And I always kind of tell this story as like door knock. A lot of people, again, they don't like it, but the lasting impression is the one where you're standing face to face with someone. I can call you all day in and day out, and I'm just a voice on the other end of the phone. But the minute I'm standing in front of you, it's very different, right? So you gain a lot more knowledge and understanding. You click with someone or you don't click with someone. My parents hired a realtor, I think probably 5 to 7 years after he door knocked them, because he came to the house. It was just such a great, they clicked, right? Yeah. They really kind of meshed well, and they really liked him. They really liked his personality and his stand. Like, it was just an overall great experience for them. And that's who they ended up going with. So I always tell people there is, you never know. You might not get that immediate satisfaction of a listing right away. But people will get drawn to your personalities. And sometimes we just click with certain individuals, right? And it's almost like a hole in one.
That happened to me last year. I started door knocking a specific street. And then what I did was I went on Geo Warehouse and I got all the names and addresses, and I put everybody on that street on my newsletter mail out. So not only were they seeing me once a month in the neighborhood, but they were also getting additional information to their doors. And it took about 1.5 years. And this woman, her name was Patricia, she actually called me and she goes, "You talked to me in my driveway." I remembered her. And she goes, "I'm now ready." Right. And she, I do think that there's something to be said about that constant branding. It's like anything else. There's a couple in Clarington who started maybe about 10 or 11 years ago, maybe, of kind of branding together, husband and wife, and they just started hitting neighborhoods sometimes 3 times a week with information. So they did a lot of unaddressed mail, which you can do through Canada Post, right? Now, I'm going to tell you something. Within about 2 years, that couple had the monopoly of this one particular town in Clarington. And it was phenomenal as another realtor to watch their growth based on the fact that, how often people were getting their info and that name clicks in, even if they've never physically met them, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I could list 100 stories, but then, I just think it's great to, make sure that you're working your 4 pillars of your business. If you decide to do pop-ups somewhere, which I think is a brilliant idea, pop up in a neighborhood and maybe buy 20 pumpkins and give them out on the spot. take advantage of your CRM and agent locator and let those people know that you're going to do a pop-up and a pumpkin giveaway. You know, be creative in these times and use the CRM that we have to reach out for some of these people. And I guarantee you someone will show up, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Priyanka is asking, she struggles in planning and documenting her results. So when you're prospecting or doing that, do you have a system in place that you're utilizing to kind of, you know, plan what you're going to be doing and then documenting the results so you know what's being effective, or perhaps, you know, the results of what you're doing and what have you?
So when I'll just give this an example right now. When we do our door knocking club, which I have everybody come in bi-weekly, and then we all go out together, right? Because it's part of being a big cheerleader group here is why I started it. When I'm at a door, if I get somebody that talks to me, they don't have to talk to me a lot. What I do when I leave their property is I just take out my cell phone and I send a text to myself that says, 123 Main Street. And then when I get back to the office, what I'll do then is go on our Geo warehouse, see if I can find their names. And then I write them a thank you card. And I, through Vistaprint, I just have these branded, thank you cards I hand write. And I simply say, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today. And then I send them a business card, even though they've already got my flyer. And then I add them to my newsletter mail out. So that way they're consistently starting. Once I'm able to get an email, which happens over time, because I will continue now to go back to their house, not every week, like not stalker like. But, I might go back a month or two later and say, I'm in the neighborhood again. And, I thought I'd drop over this info. I really try to make a really hard ditch effort at continuing to correspond with them. They'll get Christmas cards from me, you name it.
Yeah.
But if I can get an email, they're going right in agent locator. And then they'll start getting that type of correspondence as well.
Awesome. And John's just asking for a reminder of what the four pillars perhaps for yourself. There's all different pillars, but for you specifically.
There can be, yeah. So I have one pillar, which is what I call leads. That's going to be my agent locator. That's my realtor.ca leads. That's also my open house leads, because they all go into my agent locator CRM. I treat them all the same way. I want them on the drip. I want to send them listings and so forth. You always have your past clients. That's always going to be a pillar of your business. If you're new, that's still going to be a pillar of your business, but it's going to grow once you do one deal, two deals, three. You always have your sphere of influence, right? Who do you know? Who do you know? That's should always be a pillar of your business. And then your fourth pillar, for me, it's what I call farming. It's the door knocking. It's who's getting my newsletters. It's that, some people might use advertising as another one. Other people might, it depends. To be honest, those are the four major pillars. If anybody knows another one, maybe pop it in there, because I think that, see, we used to do, like years ago, I used to be involved with Scotiabank. So I was there. They have like this preferred realtor that, they'll sign you up and, you can come and have a booth there once a month and all that kind of stuff. So we would have a Scotiabank pillar, but there's different. Yeah. But those are the four ones. Like those, I think you can never go wrong with.
Perfect. And no, this is not a recording. We are live. Got a question. Is anyone out there, are you guys doing anything differently right now that's helping kind of progress with your business, or you're finding, currently it's effective with this situation that we're all kind of encountering at the moment? We'd all like to hear that, because again, we're all here to help each other rise, and kind of move up and onward. Akbar is just asking if you use an ISA for your lead follow-up.
Oh, if we had a nickel crystal, eh? We'd be retired. No, I don't. I do what I do because I work very hard, and I believe I need to be the one that's communicating. So if you haven't been part of our sessions before, we've created with the group a drip campaign. So there's lots of things you can do. I have a whole program that I use for my leads, and that's why I convert so well. I'm not against ISAs, but I need to know, I need to have confidence in the people that are calling that are basically representing me. And I haven't been able to build up that kind of trust with other companies. I do know though, correct me if I'm wrong, Crystal, there is a couple of ISA people that have used the ISA and are very happy with what they have.
Right? Yeah, there's a couple lead conversion companies out there that people will hire. It's probably at the end of the day a more cost-effective approach. However, it is a third party, right? They're not part of your business essentially. And then others, it's hard to find a good in-house ISA that you can pull as part of your team. But in those cases, depending on what your compensation agreements are, it can often cost you more money to run it that way because now you're hiring an employee for yourself or however you figure that out. So it's almost like when you need that somebody that kind of has a dual role, right, where they're doing a bunch of that, but also other work for you as well to make sense of what you're going to end up spending on that person just to do that work, right? So there's definitely companies, you guys got to do your research. There's a few that are out there. Always make sure that they are real estate focused. Okay. Because I've had some where they're like, you can hire a company that does all this stuff for you, but they're not real estate focused. And then they don't know how to talk to leads about, real estate to convert them to an appointment. Right. So it's an industry where you want to make sure that the person you are hiring has some knowledge to help move them. And then again, if they're part of your team, then they're acting on behalf of the team. So there's a little bit more of a connection there. It's not so third party-ish, essentially.
And now does Agent Locator, and hopefully Addo doesn't get upset with me, do you still have your ISA department?
We do, yeah. So we do so we don't call leads with our ISA work. The team is typically working them based on drip campaigns, so SMS campaigns, but they're pulling up leads, they're triggering and then trying to engage with them based on activity. So they're kind of more hands-on in your system. There's drips that are helping to facilitate that, but they're not just solely relying on that. They're jumping in there and trying to encourage these people to reach out or, noticing that they liked the listing or viewed it multiple times. They're actually in there trying to engage with the leads on your behalf. So it's a little bit different.
That I think that goes back to rate square one from the very first webinar we did together. Here's my take, and the reason that I've been good at converting leads is first of all, it's based on a good drip campaign. I've created my own and it works brilliantly. What all you need is just to get the lead to start communicating with you, whether that's by a phone call or by an email, it doesn't really matter. But we need them to communicate with us so that we can do what we do best as trained realtors. Get them in the car, get them to start looking at homes, right? So that's where, whatever you're doing, have it focus with the fact that all we need is for them to reply. That's it, right?
Yeah.
We can start talking. We just need them to reply. So I like the fact that Agent Locator is more focused on let's get inside to the lead as opposed to making the calls and trying to do all that. Let's get them with that drip campaign that's going to now promote them to respond to you.
Yeah. Saket is looking for ISAs. The one that we recommend here, or we stand behind, I should say, is Conversion Monster or Monster Conversion. Okay, I can never remember which one it is. It's Monster Conversion or Conversion Monster. One of those two. Yeah. That one there has had positive reviews from our clients, from other individuals. They do have a great team there, and they are 100% real estate focused. So they're good at that. So but yeah, it doesn't have necessarily that personal touch. If you're looking for that more personalized touch, then the third parties aren't, but there's more cost effective. right? So when you're starting to get to that point where you feel like you need to duplicate yourself, or you don't want to do the calls, you just want to go transact, like who wouldn't? That's when it's worth the money to spend a monthly fee to be in front of people more often rather than behind your desk.
Right. And I guess my question back, because I think it's always, I mean, of course, sometimes we lean towards the ISA part of it because we do get busy and you don't want to ever feel like you're letting something go, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think what I would ask is maybe also look within. I'm a really, really busy person. Like I coach over 155 people. I'm the manager here and I'm a full-time realtor. So life for Tara is extremely, extremely busy. But I also recognize that I'm the one that has to work these pillars of my business. I'm the one that has to work my agent locator lead. So I have a really detailed time blocking plan. And so instead of jumping right away to an ISA, maybe look at where your time is spent as well and kind of go, okay, can I take an hour? And can I focus that on being my own ISA? Maybe I do need to create a better drip campaign, or maybe I do need to incorporate 5 calls a day, right? Because I do think overall, when you're talking with people, your leads, for instance, I'm going to give you an example. Last week, one of my leads, she'd been on the system for 30 days. She's on my drip campaign. I have a specific way that I set them up to get listings. That's what I do. She did the get in touch form where she now wanted to see a property. So the get in touch form basically said, I want to see 123 Main Street. Is it possible to see it tomorrow? Here's my number if you want to call me. So right away, I email her back and go, absolutely. I will give you a call in 2 minutes. And I did. So I call her and I'm like, hey, Vanessa, it's Tara. I said, how are you doing? And then I went, oh gosh, Vanessa, sorry. I should have said it's Tara Baylis from our neighborhood realty. I'm the realtor that you reached out to. This is exactly what she said. She said, I already know you, Tara. She goes, I love your emails, right? So understand that as your name goes in their inbox every day, because they're getting listings, even if you didn't set them up on a drip campaign, they're still seeing your name with the listings every day. They really do feel like they know you. And I think that when we come to that kind of mental thing, oh yeah, like I'm not a stranger to them, even though really we kind of are.
Yeah.
But to them, we're not.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe that now becomes a very warm call.
Yeah.
If we want to do the call, as opposed to looking at it like, oh, they don't want to hear from me. If I had a nickel for every time my leads felt that they knew me before I even realized it, I'd be like, I'm telling you, it is over and over again where they're like, yeah, we knew right from day one, it would be you. And maybe they didn't use me until 4 years later because that was their time. But they've all said, I always knew it was going to be you. I didn't know that. Right?
Sometimes it is too, though. It's building that audience, right? So when you look at all those, there's so many of them, the online entrepreneurs, it's not even about the product that they're trying to sell you. It's about gaining the following and getting the people to be attracted to who they are as a person, to be like, I want to be like that person and I want to meet that person. Yeah. Right. So you could be doing whatever you're doing on the side, sending them listings and what have you, but you're just reinforcing it with any kind of online presence that you have in addition to that. So whether it's sending them emails or you're encouraging them to go over any social platforms and watch and, and sharing more about yourself. And then you're also connecting with individuals where you share similar qualities a lot of times because they're attracted to you and whatever it is that you're doing, and they find that connection there. So it makes it a lot easier to at the end of the day to kind of close and secure that relationship.
Yeah, I agree.
So Kathy is saying the last few emails I received from leads and responded to, it seemed not have received the emails. So I'm not quite sure.
Read that again.
So the last few emails I received from leads and responded to, it seems to not have received the emails.
So when you're responding back, you're replying back, the lead isn't getting the email. Is that how I'm understanding that? She might need to clarify because I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we'll wait for her to respond here. John is asking you, Tara, what is your daily schedule? So to be able to accomplish everything that you've got on your plate right now, what does your daily schedule look like?
So it's easy. You guys, okay. Please tell me y'all have listened to my stuff before. I'm a freak. I'm a workaholic. However, I'm also a commission salesperson. So first and foremost, I'm an early riser. That's who I am. So immediately I get up anywhere between 4:30 and 5 a.m. Now don't freak out. I do go to bed quite early. Okay. So I'm not like, but I also know, like I said to you guys before, that the onus is on Tara in order to go forward in real estate. Nobody else is going to provide me with that deal tree that I can sit under, right? And all the leaves fall off, and I've got all these deals. So I know right away in my mind that I need to be at my desk by X. For me, that's anywhere between 7:30 and 8 a.m. I want to be here at my Durham office. I still have over hour commute to get here. But that's just my gig. So as soon as I get to my desk first thing in the morning, I open up my laptop, and now Agent Locator is always my first thing that I do in the morning. There's tons of stuff that are waiting for me, but I just have it piled because that's my lead time. That's where I really want to go in and I want to focus myself. And then I've got other time blocking that I do. There's a lot of agents as being manager that need me, that I do training, and I have it at certain times of the day. I pre-do all of my times when it comes to training, all based on what I know my time blocking is. I always need that at my desk office time, anywhere between 7:30 and 10 a.m. So as I even go and book showings, I've always done that way as well. If I can have somebody show houses or see houses with me around the 1 or 2 o'clock during the day, that allows me my time blocking that I've already got scheduled. It can change if someone says, no, I can only do 9 a.m. Clearly, I'm going to show them a property at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
But I'm really, really scheduled into here's when I do my coaching hours, here's when my agent locator, and here's when my door knocking is. So that's how I've lived. I am kind of an organizer by trade, but I knew very quickly in this business that I needed to be able to multitask. And I needed to be able to try to have a schedule to get everything done.
It's a self-accountability as well, right? Holding yourself accountable to those time blocks as well, because a lot of us, and one of the topics I love talking about is a lot of us think we're busy, but we're just unorganized. We're not actually as busy as we think we are.
Yeah, right? Sure. And we all fall into that. Listen.
Oh, we all do. We all do it, right? We're like, so much. It's like, well, no, if you actually just sat down and planned what that's going to actually look like, you're going to find that you actually have time left over, right? And
it's hard because this business is ridiculous. I've said this a million times. I cry when I'm busy and I cry when I'm not busy.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's just that I always knew that if I was going to be what I call my version of success, because everybody's version is different. I was not ever going to say to myself, it's your own fault, Tara, because you spent the day watching Netflix instead of prospecting. I cannot look at my 2 children and go, I didn't succeed because I simply didn't do it. Right. And that can happen. I'm not saying life doesn't take advantage of us. It does. We all have our limits, but I have learned to really dig deep when I'm having those times and go, all right, girl, stop complaining, stop crying. Shit just got real. And I'm going to go back to, I was diagnosed 5 years ago with stage 4 cancer. That was the worst time of my life. And now I'm faced as a realtor going, I don't have a pension. I don't have any of these things. If I don't sell houses, I can't pay my bills. So I got to figure out how to work, sell, show, list. Well, very, very, very sick. So when you're kind of at that brink as well, it really can take you to a whole other level where I'm going to tell you now, when I hear some people complain, I don't say it, but I'm like, you have no idea. You're tired. You have no idea. Right. Yeah. So digging deep, I think is the key to going, all right, get off your butt and get it done.
No one's going to do it for you.
That's my typical day. It is. I like to be by 6 or 7 o'clock, unless I'm doing an offer, I'm doing anything that, clients need me. I know around the 7 o'clock time, I now have to shut it down because my day has been so full. I'm not that one that's going to work till 1 o'clock in the morning to try to catch up.
No. Sometimes you can never catch up. It's a vicious cycle. You'll never catch up.
Yeah.
It's always moving. So Kathy is saying, yes, that's correct, Tara. So in essence, she replies and it's like they're not getting her responses. Kathy, is it just like they're just not responding to your responses after the fact, or they're saying they're not getting the email when you are responding? Because it depends really, again, in the context of the communication as well, right? So.
Well, what we could do as well is, okay, if they're not responding back to you with a thank you, it could just be that they simply don't want to. Number two, what I would do is, this is why having that task bar on the dashboard is so important. Maybe what you might want to do is put a task in for yourself, follow up again with a text or a phone call 2 or 3 days later, right? Don't be afraid to do that. Sometimes what I've done is, if I've had somebody send me a get in touch, let's just say that form, or they've replied to one of my drip campaign. If they're like, oh, I'm really looking for A, B, and C, I always reply back and say, okay, I'm going to revise your search right away. And you'll get your new listing sent out immediately. I will usually then the next day send another email that says, hi, Sue, it's Tara. Did you get your new search okay? I just want to make sure. So don't be afraid to ask them if they've got your email, even if you send out a text.
Yeah, because you can also see if they've opened it. So sometimes they might not even realize that you replied to them. It's just showing as delivered, right? So again, it's just that quick follow-up, like, hey, just wanted to make sure that you got my email response okay.
Absolutely.
Right? Because they could be sitting there thinking that you never actually responded to them at the same time, right? So
okay, like Crystal, I'm not IT, not IT at all. But I do know that Gmail and also my Rogers email, like sometimes when you reply, it'll together.
Yeah.
Which I hate. It's like, somebody tell me how to stop that. So maybe sometimes it's going back into the initial email and they don't even realize you've replied.
Yeah. Right? Or it goes like, there's like a love-hate relationship with these email things, because it's like people reply to my email that I sent them and their response goes into spam. I'm like, but I literally just sent you an email from my direct email, and then you respond, and then it goes into my spam, which to me doesn't make any sense, right? Yep. But there's all different scenarios of what could be happening, really, right? So the
moral of the story is, use the task, create a task for yourself in 24 hours or 48 hours to follow up. If I've replied with an email, sometimes that follow-up task for me might be a call or an SMS, right? Did you get it okay?
Yeah.
Right? You got nothing to lose. You've already paid for the lead. You've got everything to gain.
John's just saying, way to go. Thanks for being a great example of being comfortable at being uncomfortable. Thanks for all your help and advice.
I'll take it.
Kathy's just curious, do you feel like there is a better time of day to call people?
Oh my gosh, that's the $1 million question. Now, it was my first time meeting Beverly when we did the US and Canada webinar. I want to refer back to Beverly. Now, has she said what time, Crystal, is best for her?
Anytime.
She does anytime. Okay.
Anytime. So one of the things that you have to consider is when you guys look at your dashboard, they all have timestamps.
Yeah.
Right? You'll see exactly what time each person signed up at. So we all run and operate on different schedules. Right? So just because 1 o'clock is good for a lot of people in your system, there could be a lot of people at 1 o'clock that are not available whatsoever to take a phone call from you.
Right.
So it's switching up your call times. You're going to align yourself more so with more of your lead schedule, because we're all operating all different places, all different times. So your best and earliest opportunity and just find a time, and it always at a different time. So never keeping the same routine call time every single day. It's trying to switch that up to align with everyone's schedule.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a big believer in, give yourself calls each day to do, whether it's 5, whether it's 10, everybody's different. What your time blocking is. But if you find during a certain period of time, if that's when you've time blocked, it's not working, don't be afraid to change the time. You know, it's like how I do with my drip campaigns. I'm constantly monitoring them. You know, maybe now this one isn't getting as much response, so I'm gonna create something else and take it out and put something else in the campaign. So if you're doing 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you're not getting happy people on the phone, or you're not getting anybody answering, make a switch, right? I feel like wherever you are, whatever city, whatever province, whatever country, you're going to see a little different norm everywhere. I think Tracy's on here. Tracy in our office loves to do, honestly, she does late dinner time into the 7 or 7:30. I would have been the one to say, oh my God, do not call at that time. She has unbelievable success. Right? So play around with it. That's what I love about working the pillars of your business.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to switch it up, change it up.
Oh, absolutely. And you can also look at the demographic of an area as well. Right. So if you're in an area, or you're targeting an area, generating leads in an area where there's a large retired kind of group of individuals in that area, that daytime. They're home in the day. Right?
Yeah. That's a really interesting concept because there are a lot of 55 plus, where retirement areas that you can buy into. If I were going to call there, I'm telling you right now, I'd be calling at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, they're up early, right? I love that. Yeah. Try it and see, try the phone calls and then come back in 2 weeks when we're on again and let us know what worked.
Oh, absolutely.
I love that feedback. This is very exciting, Crystal. I'm very excited right now.
I see, Priyanka, you had your hand up, so I'll let you talk if you needed to. I'm not sure if you had a question you wanted to speak about.
Hey, Tara and Crystal.
Hi. Hey, welcome back, girl.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I truly agree with you. When we have work, we cry. When we don't, we cry. I absolutely agree. So I wanted to share my experience. In last 45, 50 days, I have sold 3 houses, 2 listings and 1 buying.
Good for you.
Trust me, it's been so much of roller coaster. When I was selling 1, I had 3 offers and we kind of worked out. The seller was happy. It was not a pretty hard thing. It was sold in maybe 10 days, week or 10 days. Early August, I had door knocking done. I did open house and everything, and it went well. Second listing came around 2nd, 3rd week of August. And I think after the announcement of the interest hike or something like that. And it was very hard. I mean, I had it listed. I did door knocking, staging, photography, everything the best I could have done from my side. And we only had one offer, pretty low offer, according to what we were expecting, but we try and worked out with that offer. The good thing was did not have any mortgage condition. So I explained to my clients, this is what we have to do in this kind of climate. Let's get work with this offer. We kind of stretched it, and they were like not so happy. I said we will be saving a lot of money when we go start buying for them. Because they are upgrading. And we somehow did inspection, everything. The deal got for now 10 days into after selling their house. Now we are into the buying mode, and they got freaked out that nobody is reducing the price. We lost. I said, you might have lost $50,000 for your house, and what we are asking is 300 to 400K below what you are buying for.
Right.
And we put 4 or 5 offers. We did like 15 showings I did for them, 5 offers. 3 offers came back with a big gap between the seller and the buyer. One house we really liked, and we kept pushing the same offer after every 2 to 3 days. Trust me, the seller came back from 1,179 to 1,040,000, and we got the house. So it's just I'm sharing this because it's not that we put an offer and it's not accepted. We kind of set back. Okay, it's not going to happen. So we'll have to try and work out and put the same offer, little bit change in the offer. Sellers are taking a little more time to kind of get used to the market shift. But if they are motivated enough, they are ready to work. So that's what I wanted to share. And that's the nutshell of the story. They wanted their house back from the buyer they sold because we are not getting what we want. So it was so much of chaos for last 15 days. I did not even sleep. So
that's a lot to go through.
Yeah, it was a lot to go through. And every time, you work so hard for your clients and they kind of lose their trust or, kind of start questioning you and yours and themselves and everything. It was very hard. But at the end, everything fell into place and they're happy now. So I'm happy for them.
That's good for you. You worked hard, and I love that you're talking about this because all of you who have seen me speak on here before, I am such an advocate for people understanding how hard we work as realtors. This is not just, I'm going to sell a house quick, make lots of money, move on to the next. It is emotionally draining, and we get the blame for everything. It's such a difficult job, and thank you for sharing. The good news is it all worked out. And as realtors, we kind of have to learn how to communicate as well with our people. It'll all work out. Let me carry the load. I understand. It's really a really difficult thing. But 3 houses, girl.
Yeah.
Priyanka shared a lot of it. She struggled a little bit quite a few months ago when we first started, late spring. She was really struggling. Do I door knock? How do I kickstart my business? So this is a great example of someone who's been on these webinars, has kind of probably taken some notes. She's called me on the side as well. What do you think about this, Tara, and that? I'm certainly by no means a pro, but I love the fact that we all have stuff that we can learn from each other, but we're the ones that have to put it into place. Right?
Yeah.
So good work.
Thank you. Now I'm going back to door knocking because I see a great opportunity when I was doing during my listings. I'm now, going back, but just trying to put the word out there that I am here to help if you need anything. And just talking to people. I think there is so much of confusion and panic, and it's really hard for a lot of families to go through this time. And just being there, it kind of comfort them a lot.
Don't be afraid to go back to real estate 101. Don't be afraid. When I door knock, my whole thing is, I had a broker of record years ago when I was with Remax. The one thing he said to me, and I thought this was brilliant: Tara, expect 99 no's before you get one yes. So I always go into working the pillars of my business with the expectation that I'm going to get a no, right?
Yeah.
And I'm prepared for that mentally when I make phone calls, when I do this. But when I go door knocking, my reason for door knocking is not, I'm going to door knock until I get a listing. It's all about branding Tara Baylis. All I want to know is that I've talked to somebody, or if I haven't, I've left something in their door that has my name, my number, my brokerage. Right? So once I took that kind of stress off my shoulders, door knocking then became very easy. And I'm super chill with it, just like I am with my phone calls to my agent locator leads. I'm always just saying, listen, I'm Tara, I'm a local realtor. I just wanted to stop by. A lot of people have questions about what's going on right now in the market. I'm here if you have anything you want to ask. And if they say, oh, okay, no, I don't, then I go, let me just leave my information with you. I'm always available if you think of anything. So like I do with my leads, when it comes to phone calling my leads and the way I've created my drip campaign, I let the person at the door direct how we interact. I'm not there to ask them a ton of questions. I'm not there, right? The same as that when I call my leads, I let the lead direct the call. I'm just there to make myself available. And when I started doing door knocking without this mission, I have to get a listing, I'm hungry, I've got to get a buyer. Once I took that ease off myself and when I just want people to know my name, and then it kind of fell into place a little easier. It's easier to go out every time.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think we put way too much pressures on ourselves.
Oh, we do.
We're our own worst enemy when it comes to working the pillars of our business, and that can stop us.
Well, and you get it stuck in your head. Right? We complicate things more than we should. And we're always, for whatever reason, not always, but a lot of time we kind of think of that worst case scenario that never actually really ever happened. Right? It's like a new parent, a new mom that's always like, the worst case scenario, like whatever it might be, which never happened. Right? But we get
does.
So
like somebody slams the door on your face. Like, I just go off in my head. I start wearing in my head and going, you live through it. But, but look at the wonderful cases we've had so far of where people.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We've got 5 minutes. I can see if Francois here has a question. So I'll give him the opportunity to chat here.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Good.
Hey, I met your wife, didn't I?
It's not Francois, it's Keith. This is Francois' husband.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So I'm always under her name. I don't know why. That's okay. That's cool.
I met her. She came on our cruise.
That's what I heard.
Lovely.
So I always tune into your webinars, and I must say they are very helpful.
Oh, good. I'm glad you like them.
Good.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share with you guys a couple cases of one with Agent Locator. So we're just finishing up a deal with one lead, and it's all a process of being consistent. And when I took the gentleman out, there was no trust. I could see it on his face. It's like he was probably saying, "Who is this guy?" Right? So we took your advice. Say just take them out the first time, and then we built a relationship from there. Fast forward today, the young gentleman is buying his first home, and we're just doing the waivers right now. So Agent Locator works.
Yay.
And then on the second story is I was doing an open house in Brampton and doing my circle prospecting, giving out flyers, letting people know there's an open house. And reached to the last flyer, guy walked up to me, said, "Oh, you're selling that house?" I said, "Yes." And he said, he could see the desperation and said, I have to sell. So I said, "Well, I'll be happy to help you. When can I come by?" He said, "Tomorrow." So I had to rush home, do a listing presentation. he was pretty tough, and so now I have him as an exclusive. So I think it's all about just being approachable, getting out there, because people do want to see you at their doors. As you know, some people might say, I'm scared to, but you have a reason to go out there. Don't look at yourself as a salesperson, look at yourself as a solution provider. So I just wanted to share that with you guys.
That's a really good, Keith, a really good point, right? We know that we have something of value. We know. People think they know the market, but they don't know like we do. So whatever we're doing, whether it's our agent locator leads, whether it's our sphere of influence, whatever that pillar is, come with a heart of contribution. I just want to make myself available to answer anything that questions you might have, right? Same as when I'm calling my agent locator leads. Hey, it's Tara calling from begintosearch.com. I just wanted to thank you for taking the time and coming on my site. I want you to know that I really appreciate it. Every call I make starts like that. You're coming with a heart of contribution. And what you did right away, because you made yourself accessible in the area, was you were at the right place at the right time, and it was meant to be, because now you're face to face, Keith, and he wanted to talk to you, right? And I just think that always, if we can just say to ourselves, we have something to give these people, not do a survey type, how many bedrooms do you want? How many of this? But just say, what do you need? Crystal, what do you need?
More coffee.
Right? At least you didn't say vodka. But
it's genuinely coming from the heart. People can hear when you are being sincere about something versus when you're not. And they can feel it too, because your energy of what you're saying to them, they're grabbing and pulling that energy in just with how you're communicating with them. So it goes a long way. It makes a big difference.
I'm so happy. Look at the deals we have coming from Agent Locator.
I know.
And awesome. You just got to stick in there. And I will give you a little piece of advice. When I was training the team here earlier, I talked to them about doing the additional touches. So not only, do I have my drip, but I also work into other touches that I do. So don't be afraid if you're coming across, let's use this, where this guy looks like he was having a little bit of trouble, maybe maintaining the mortgage, Keith, on his property, like he was starting to stress. Take advantage of that. Create a touch for your agent locator leads. Maybe you might say, in the subject line, are you finding your mortgage too much? Mortgage payments getting difficult? ? And then don't be afraid to give a tip. I've touched my agent locator leads with, listen, guys, this just happened to one of my clients this past week. I just want to give you my thoughts on it, right? Use your real estate experiences to kind of formulate a nice touch and then do a mass email out to everybody. Tips and tricks if the interest rate is causing you problems with your mortgage. And then give a little bit of advice. There's so much you can be doing when you're coming with a heart of contribution. And again, remember, don't go really long email, just really, really, really small. But add that in.
Absolutely. Yeah. Awesome. And what I'm going to do, so most of you all should be getting an email the day after we're doing these. So I believe it goes about 24 hours after the scheduled start time. I would love for us to continue to work on that drip. We just need some more contributions from you guys to make it an actual drip. Not gonna be very drippy. What we have so far.
I think, what have we got? Do we have about 7?
I think so.
8.
Something like that. 7 or 8.
Yeah, there's 8.
There's some in there. So I'll put the link again so that you guys can see there, because we have the original and the contribution and the edit, so Tara's revisions. And so even if it's an email that you guys are looking to formulate, similar to what Tara just kind of expressed as an option to be doing, and you just want to make sure, having second sets of eyes on it, right? Or maybe it's something that we can definitely throw into a campaign. things like that. So it's kind of like it could be used in a mass blast, or perhaps it could be thrown and tucked into an email campaign. So again, think of things that you would want to be communicating with your leads that you think are valuable, insightful, and resourceful, essentially. And then we'll kind of take them and then hopefully we can actually put together and formulate this drip that everyone can then take advantage of.
We're getting there.
We're getting there.
And you know what? And don't forget, the people that have contributed, for the ones that keep coming back on, you guys didn't believe that you could actually create your own drip. And the emails that we've gotten so far have been phenomenal. I'm tweaking them just to kind of, make them a little smaller, but you've got this. Right?
Yeah.
So great work, but we need more.
We need more.
Once we get the emails, once I feel like we've got enough, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to now add some SMSs and tasks in the actual drip, and then it will be complete.
Yeah.
Maybe halfway there. Maybe.
Yeah. Because you can always add to it. It's never a finished product, right? It's always a work in progress.
Nope.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Tara. Thank you, everyone who popped in here today. And we'll see you all in a couple weeks. All right. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Crystal. Bye, guys.
Bye.